So, good morning, folks, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to do a spoiler review of Tales from the Past 42, The Shade, Issue 3. Here it says When Lightning Strikes, but actually it's called The Spider, 1951. It's kind of ironic for those who know a little bit about the history of the Flash, in this case Crimson Comet. And for those of you who don't know how I do these types of videos, Tales from the Past is kind of like a series of videos where I cover a comic, or European comic, or a manga from, let's say, the previous century till, let's say, 2010, 2011, something in that range. And we basically go to who the team is, artists, pencils, colors, whatever, synopsis, a quick breakdown, and then we go to the good, bad, and the ugly, after which we give a final verdict with a score that goes from 10 out of 100 till, let's say, 100 out of 100, with 10 out of 100 meaning 1 out of 10, 1 out of 100, 1 out of, so basically 10 out of 10. So pretty simple, and you might, as I told you before, if you watch my previous videos, there might things that you might disagree with me about, and if that's the case, no problem. That's totally fine. Let's just try to keep it civil, you know. My goal with these types of videos is trying to bring back a more simpler time, a better time where we could just discuss which character could be who. Is the writing good? Is the cover art good? And is the page layout as it should be? Is there good pacing? Those are the questions that you need to ask. That's the discussion that we need to have. And of course, I'll be, if you heard the paper read a little bit, I made some notes because I want to be prepared, and I'll be using the following sites for my background information called, of course I use mycomicbookshop.com, but the most important source I use here to give you other people's opinions is the League of Comics Geeks. To give, you basically the opinion of other readers, etc. And what their final verdict was supposed to be. So we're going to the team. The writing is done by James Robinson. Pencils and inks by Brett Burns. I butchered the name already. Colors, Jay Garrick, Digital Chameleon. Letters are Chris Diopoulos. Cover is Tony Harris, and the editor is Chuck Kim. Editor-in-chief is Janet Kang. So we're going to the synopsis. The Flash. This takes place, for those of you who have a little bit of background knowledge. This version of the Flash was the original one. The Crimson Comet. He debuted in Flash Comics in 1940, and after 57 issues, it got discontinued. It was developed by Gardner Fox and another guy. But in 1951, the run got ended, discontinued, and that's exactly the same year that this guy presumably retired. So he retires as the protector of Keystone City, and meanwhile, a new hero / vigilante known as the Spider, so-called hero, takes over, who seems to have a connection to the Shade's past, and eventually the Shade saves Jay Garrick's life. That's about it. That's all you need to know. So we're going into nice cover, by the way. It's kind of reminiscent of the previous era. So here's, and for those who don't know a little bit about the backstory. Originally, Shade started like some show kind of film with Kane, but after the crisis, he got a little bit scared, got a little bit revamped as a more like Victorian era kind of guy with morals. That's exactly what happens here. After Margaret, I didn't meet Lulo for many years. During the Blitz mystery I shared with Captain X, there was a word of one plot against me. I have trouble reading this handwriting, so my apologies in advance. But I learned to Ludo in question that put his scheme on hold when war began, marched off to serve his country, and fell at Dunkirk. Upon my return to America, a new challenge loomed for me, one that filled me with wonder, fear, delight. I was not alone. My powers, my cursed, full, fierce, dark, dire, wonderful powers had been as effective to me, separating me from man, making me hail man for his normalcy, resent him, despise and disdain him. I was as black as my shadow this time. But now, I was no longer alive. There were others afflicted as me, and one I chose. Barry, who would follow, was a Boy Scout, but Jay had wit, and quite and guile and wisdom. And that alone, with his speed, made him a god. Ironic, because the helmet is deviated from Mercury, the messenger god. So here you see a little bit what their relationship started out. Jay and I had crossed lances 5 times by now, and each a most glorious joust. Despite the 1951, here's it's basically a preview. And here he kind of reflects on his time with Jay Garrick, and the relation. It gives a good relationship of him as a their villain and hero relationship, but that also one of it's kind of weird, of mutual respect. Why did I fight those super speed? I'm not sure that I ever know the answer to that. I once mused that they represented the antithesis of my own languid self. I'm sure suggests that I, a thief, was trying to snatch the mantle from my own personal godhead. Mercury was a god of thieves and messengers, or may simply have been what's written here. Because I thought Jay's helmet was charming. But the glorious joust went on, and I hoped that it would never stop. And it did. So 1950. And now news that will shock many residents of Keystone, the Flash. City's own speedster hero announced his retirement today. In a full message, he had this to say about the decision. It has been an honor to protect the people of Keystone City. An honor and a privilege. But I must now lay that life aside. I'm a husband. I have duties. Outside those of my costume, my wife, and my life with her are owned time without the threat or the threat of danger or tragedy. And here, so yeah, basically. And he goes here. He passed the mantle on to the archer, who relocate to Keystone City. How he'll fare in the city remains to be seen. How indeed. So Richard Swift is basically watching the news and says, yeah, how is he going to hold up? But here you see him take down the fiddler, which shows what kind of hero he is. He's more of an anti-thesis to Jay Garrick. I think that's the thinker, but I'm not entirely sure. So basically he takes out all his previous villains. And the battle inside Keystone City, water and power building, lasted for over an hour before the spider emerged triumphant. The Thinker's criminal army had sealed off all means of entry, but the spider somehow found access, and after stealthily overpowering these henchmen, reached the Thinker and brought the mastermind out to the waiting authorities. Like the spider's triumph, this after many other crime-fighting successes since his arrival here last month, it seems the spider can indeed be called Keystone City Protector. And to further bring this fact home, his predecessor, the Flash made a surprise reappearance to publicly endorse the Spider's efforts. Spider and I only met briefly during my time in the All-Star Squadron. However, it's still with great confidence I say, he's here the city needs. A new night, a new joust. So the Shade thinks he watches this. Richard watches the screen and he thinks there's something off about it. So he decides. He reflects upon it again, and I entered this tour of caution. I had fought an opponent in 1968 when I thought I knew the full extent of my powers. I was filled with booty freshness. It's hard to read for me at times. That opponent sent me to another dimension, where I stayed far too long. And so this opponent was a Ludlow. Way. Now I know the strength of the worry. I had also learned that knowledge was power, that anything I could learn about my new opponent might help me in the future. This required trips to St. Louis, where there were buried records and references, bank records, all to uncover in dread of night. So they face again against each other. With his control over the Shadowlands and the Spider's skills with the bow and arrow. And here finds one of his henchmen, ironically. I told you know everything that goes on in St. Louis and everything gone to tell me of him, this Spider fellow. And this time here, no, he would kill me. You're moments away from dying by my hand. And you still fear a man who's a city away? Why would you fear a hero so? That's a good question. So here he drops some bells came and went with the months. Soon it was 1951. That's 1 year after he presumably retired. So you're a St. Louis supervillain. So Shade goes into an investigation and tells him, asks a former supervillain about his time fighting the Spider. He said, so you were a St. Louis supervillain? Yeah. I was called a surpriser. On account of my powers, I fired different rays from each of my fingers. No one knew what power I'd use. I'm sure you were most interesting. But the Spider fixed it, so I didn't have my powers no more. Why would he be so extreme? Oh, I know full well. Perhaps I'm naive, perhaps I'm stupid, but I've seen heroes, costumed heroes, as I've grown, so I've observed they all have sidekicks. Why, I don't know. It's crazy to think I might be the Spider's aide, then that date, fearless girl reporter. If I can find a man's confidence, I'll go with him on adventures. The book I will write later could win me awards. Hello, Mr. Spider. So they talk each other. His girlfriend / sidekick. Miss Dalt. Great to meet you. Call me the Spider. It's a nickname I had as a kid. That stuck. So I kept it instead of calling myself the Phantom Archer or the Yellow Arrow or some other cornball name. Why do you allow this interview to happen? Why my newspaper? So about me will begin appearing in the papers sooner or later. I just assumed they were based on the hard facts I supplied, not on the hearsay. I've read your work. I like it. Your writing has bravery. They're not just a sob. Sister, I was wondering if I could accompany you on an adventure, see what you did firsthand. So she offers him a place to join him on this adventure. Campus, she likes him as well. Okay, let's see how the first interview goes. Fair enough. So, Miss Spider, tell me about your triumphs in St. Louis. Just Spider, Linda. I told you, just call me Spider. So yeah, it's basically kind of like each other. But he's also manipulating him. Meanwhile, the Shade watches from a distance as he sees Jay Garrick, who ironically doesn't have grey hair in this. Maybe the aging reduced or just the art style could be the case. I was nervous, I admit. He had been foes for almost a decade. Now I would come to him as a friend. With this change of heart in Richard Swift's case, not just as a villain, but more in the way he looks at him now. As a hero, he fought each other on multiple occasions, but to watch him now with his he's not a man without a heart. That's why I like him. And then I saw her, and the life I'd never have. No friend would ask him to leave that. And he could, if he was truly ruthless, he could have ended that relationship and killed him right there. But that's what I like about him. He has too much respect for him as a hero, despite being a villain slash anti-film, anti-hero in this case. So he teleports away, thanks to his powers to Shadowland. And he goes to visit the spider. Hello, spider. Shade, hey man. You seem very calm. I've been expecting it. That's all. Moving forward to it in point. In fact, this is it. You know. How you know I know. Because of the fights we've been having in the dumb creatures you've been casting from the shadows. They're like when you fought the Flash and were being easy with him. While you were being easy on me too. I kind of like this art style. It's minimalistic, yet cartoonish as well. I thought you were not a noble fool, and not a Flash. I didn't realize you were a criminal. So now I get the treatment when you bring forth the shadow next. The creatures will be horrifying and deadly, like they were in the old days. Since you know an awful lot about me. All will be revealed. Someone's shouting. Must be something ink of some. I'll be revealed. Essentially, firstly, I want to know what you've learned. I made inquiries on in St. Louis. You had a home there. I was curious why you'd leave that glory for the Flash sloppy seconds. I learned that you were the city's champion, taking on all criminals, big and small, praying to keep crime to an amazing low. And what you were really doing was eliminating the competition. You had a criminal empire in St. Louis. Anyone could have revealed this. You intimidated or killed. You acted a hero and yet committed robbery and murder. Not to mention smuggling and the 3 cases of kidnapping. All that, and I still get invited to All-Star Squadron reunion dinners. How'd you find out? Those who you scared into silence, I scared more. I got them talking again. The only thing I didn't learn is why you relocated. You had it all here, there. To be honest, I got a feeling people were beginning to suspect just a few more than I could kill or silence. Feared skip while I was ahead. Why Keystone? Well, there's more to do with you than with Garrick. You see, there's something about me you didn't uncover. One small but important fact. I'm a Ludlow. I came here to destroy you. So the family Ludlow, they have kind of complicated relationship with Richard Swift. They hate each other for some unknown reasons. Jay Garrick's retirement was a convenience, but had you been Green Lantern's enemy, I would have gone to Gotham instead. Why so long? Why'd you wait so long? I've been operating as a supervillain for years. You could have come to the city before this offered to help Garrick and undercover that killed me during one of my crimes. I'll wait until I was sure that I could bash you, sure that I was the best, fast enough. To do what? So he shoots him with some kind of tranquilizing electric arrow, and you see him pass out. Simply. If the spider's standing over him, why didn't you kill me? Now or for what matter? Where we fought before, I needed those battles. You didn't kill Jay Garrick, so I realized this was all some kind of game with you. I knew that as long as I played that same game, I was going to survive the encounters too. In the process, you used your shadow. I had 2 men at each encounter, onlookers apparently, each time waiting with ice chests to contain residue from the shadow you threw around. So basically, taking samples from his shadow. I have a killer on his way to Jay Garrick's home. As you used Garrick's name earlier, you know his secret identity. He told me I'm his successor after all. Why wouldn't he? I've already introduced the killer as an aide, so he'll be trusted and accepted into Garrick's home. We'll kill them and leave shadow residue on their bodies. So basically he's trying to set the shade up. And yeah, taint his name. You'll be blamed, the world will hunt you. Superheroes, G-Man, who's more beloved among America's heroes than the Flash, even now when the world's turning its back on our kind. They love his smile and humility. Who else is more admired? Green Lantern? Hawkman perhaps? Starman? In Opal City maybe, nowhere else. And our man, Dr. Fate, Dr. Midnight, the Spectre, all too removed. Too dark, frankly. I think America is glad to see them gone. But the Flash men want to be his body. And women want to bake him cherry pies. He is America. And if you were thought to be the killer, you'll be hated by everyone. Genius. And what you're basically doing here is, I thought you said you wanted to kill me. No, I said I want to destroy you. I realize I might never be able to physically kill you. It's true because he's immortal. I know fire weakens your power, which is how I'm subduing you now. But killing you, I'm not so sure if it's possible. So instead I decided to hit you where it hurt you the most. By storing the idealized existence you have, you'll be the hunted rabbit, and I'll be the wealthiest man in Keystone City. Well, this is refreshing. The last two loot lows I've care for one very dearly. You're a villain as black as I. Killing you would be a pleasant diversion. What makes you think you're going to kill me? Oh, when will you learn? When will your loot lows learn? You have me unconscious. I'm not sure you can kill me either, but you had your best chance to finding out then. Like a fool, you had to let me wake so you could kill me. I would have done that as a villain when jousting with the Flash, never when committing crimes that meant anything to me. The greatest criminals are those whose crimes go unknown. What is a compulsion that costume villains have to clothe? I'm especially disappointed with you, Spider. You who prospered so in St. Louis by keeping your crimes secret. As for fire, I need to be in it, surrounded by it. So I have no way of creating a shadow, then I'm weakened. Here, fire is my friend. Look at the shapes around you. No, not a second time. Now, it's my turn. And with this last words, he makes other constructs, and they turn into demon archers shooting black arrows at him, and that's the end of the spider. I always had time to enjoy this, but not today. But I did not. No, you're supposed to be. So the killer is God, but Shade basically kills him with his own powers. Shut up and die, you idiot. Good. Finally some good business. No nonsense. Miss Garrick, are you alright? Don't hurt me. My husband, I know you're here. Then... oh yes, it's a badge I wear with some degree of pride, but not at this hour. I must say it's nice to play a role. The arrow flame for a change instead of basil Roughbone. Where's your husband? He's over behind the sofa. The man knocked him out. Poor guy. Where am I? Shade, don't stir, Garrick. Yes, I'm here, as a savior. He is Jay. He rescued us. I don't understand. You will call the police. Tell one of the spider's aides tried to kill you. Here, give them this address. It's the spider's lighthouse lair. I've left the evidence there. They'll need to understand what the spider's intentions were. 2 manila folders neatly placed by his body. He's dead. Thankfully, yes. Please don't reveal my involvement in this. You owe me that much. It all happened too fast. It was a blur. You know, the kind of thing to say, let the police draw their own conclusions as to who did all of this. Soon, when more is out and known, then we'll talk again. So, in shocking news, the spy has been turned in. It's all over the news. And, yeah. And the true man is unknown. Who revealed all this information unknown. And they say it's Dr. Midnight, but the truth is Richard Swift over there. Then we go to the end, where they talk again. Flash forward. Why did you choose to remain anonymous? I'm a villain. I have standards to uphold. No, really, I can't have my fellow villains thinking I might switch sides and betray them, as much as I hold the bulk of them in abject contempt. They do have their uses from time to time. Alright, then the second obvious question, why did you save me? With me and the spider out of the way, this city could have been yours. I want this city, I already have the place to call home, and it isn't there. I enjoy you, Flash. I enjoy the crimes, I enjoy the color. I won't delve into the details, but it's distinctly possible I'm no longer alive. I walk and talk and make an exceptional quail moose. But I'm not certain I live in the conventional sense. Why about you? I enjoy your life, speed and humor. For the briefest moments, I'm truly living. So, if you left Keystone now, we could remain friends. Unfortunately, I've no intention of leaving Keystone, not until I've committed enough crimes to draw you from this silly self-imposed exile. You're good at what you do to stop. If I do return, it will only be once in a while. If I can ruffle the feathers on your helmet enough to at least achieve that, I'll be content. The next time we'll meet, it'll be as enemies. Yes, isn't this wonderful? However, there's still no reason we can part as today as friends. And this is kind of, like a change of heart in the shade as well. In how he is as a flamboyant gentleman from the Victorian era. How he respects Jay Garrick. He won't change as a villain, but he changes look in how he looks at his heart and how he looks at Jay Garrick. That yes, they're villains, but at the same time they have mutual respect towards each other. Especially too much to take them out completely. So in the next they'll fight again, and we did. And came the morrow we met in battle anew. There was one moment, low in the fight, when our eyes met, we both smiled. And then Jay punched me hard in the jaw. He was good at that. I enjoyed that question. I always enjoy irritating Jay and killing a Lulo who deserves what he got. I fought one more Lulo in 1960. It was a minor part of a tale too complex to relate now. The events took me out west, where men are men, and spittoons are full of to prove it. It involved cowboys and rustlers, robots, rebellion king, transplanted through time, and the ghost of Pancho Villa. Hope I've spelled his name correctly. In the course of this, I met two men I admire greatly. One, masked hero, vigilante, who could shoot like a demon and sing like a lark. The other, detective, I recall mentioning once before, Sierra Smith, who did most of the actual crime solving, while I stood around making pretty remarks. What concerns me now is a letter I've received from a Ludlow here in prison, here in the present. A woman, a troubled woman who fears for her husband. This is a matter I must deal with now. And there's some other notes here, but that's about it. The video has been going on for too long already. So let's go back to the plus, the good, bad, and the ugly. So the good about this cover is spot on. Interior art feels nostalgic, almost a throwback to a previous era, the golden age in that case, which is quite appropriate. The writing is good. It's fast paced. It's more like slice of life moments, but nothing that distracts from the overall story. And it's a good character portrayal, and it really shows the relationship that Richard Swift, Shade, and Flash have, not just as villains, but also as friends. They have mutual respect towards each other. And also you see a change of heart in Shade, even though he doesn't like to admit it. Not in the way he sees Jay Garrick, they're still villains, but more in the way he looks at him as a person. He respects him greatly, and living without an enemy is kind of boring for him. So yeah, in the end, too few to mention for the ugly. So we're going to the final verdict. The league gave it 22 out of 22 liked it, with 4.6 average rating on the League of Comics Geeks, which accumulates into 100 out of 100, so 10 out of 10. Me, I have to agree with this for the most part. I give the 95 out of 100. And yeah, it's a must buy. That's about it. Anyways, I have to go because I have some groceries to buy. So talk to you guys later. If I don't upload a video on Tuesday or Monday, 23rd or 24th, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.